Good morning and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folari. And well, we're starting off, today is the 29th of March and it is the birthday of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, his 70th birthday. And we certainly wish him everything that he wishes himself, a happy birthday. And I'm sure my guests will probably, join me in those sentiments. We have Dr. Tunji Abayomi, constitutional lawyer and, politician. And we also have Comrade Abubakar Abdullahi Kuso, National Coordinator, Bola Tinubu Support Organization, as well as the fact that he's also SSA to the Niger State Governor on ecological matters. But for now, ecological matters to one side. We're celebrating birthday today. So welcome, gentlemen. It's an epoch-making day for, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He's been traversing the political, landscape of this country for decades now. And it's culminated in the fact that he has declared his intention, among others, to run for the highest office in the land. And so, and the theme, by the way, as is known, on his birthday, a colloquium is usually held, and this year will not be an exception. And that's where brains come about and speak about issues concerning development in our beloved Nigeria. The theme this year is pivoting Nigeria into the new world, imperatives of good governance. Dr. Bayomi, that's the theme. Mm-hmm. The new world, pivoting us into the new world. Mm-hmm. Here we're a third world country, and so it is a Herculean task. However, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has always been all about human capital development, and I imagine that's going to be a great part of pivoting us into the new world. Your thoughts on that whole idea, and indeed the theme, pivoting Nigeria into the new world, imperatives of good governance?
Well, my thinking about that is that the possibility to move Nigeria to a new world order will depend on the wealth of the nation. And I think it is also essential as we look into the future to look for a president, potential president, that has the capacity to materialize the nation in terms of development of wealth. Because in a nation, the truth of the matter is that everything depends on the wealth of the nation to build the nation. You cannot even build human capital without first of all building a nation with the capacity to build her citizens. If you see the development of Western countries, the Western development, you will see the evolutionary progression. Now we are talking of these nations. If you look at the past, it's a whole lot of sacrifice for them to get to where they are now. Now, we can now say that the stability of a nation also depends on the wealth of a nation. Okay. There's a correlation between stability as well as the wealth of a nation. The most stable nations in the world are also the wealthiest. And that is interesting. So when we're looking into the future, it's essential for us to look from the economic capacity or capability of the leader in terms of development of the wealth of Nigeria.
In terms of ideas for that
the purpose. Ideas for development. So when we are talking of a new world order, it's really now look at the G. Is it G16 or whatever? The G group.
Yes.
They are all wealthy nations.
Indeed.
They are all wealthy nations. Why are we not there? We are not there because we are struggling to become as a nation. And that is why, if today Nigeria becomes a wealthy nation, it will be invited regularly to the Council of the Wealthy, so to say. And of course, there will also be greater stability, even within Nigeria.
So we're going to return to that theme of what we have at our disposal, the wealth. As you know, Comrade Abubakar, it is said that we are quite a rich nation, potentially. They always add that, potentially, which then begins to point towards leadership. Because if you say potentially, but not actually, then it goes back to the quality, caliber of leadership that we have had to travel with. And every leader comes on and tells us great things are going to happen. I'm going to make a change. It's still a work in progress. Let's put it like that. It's still a work in progress. Now, looking at the colloquium today, pivoting Nigeria into the new world, and Dr. Bayomi has said that everything is going to depend on what our capacity and capability is. How optimistic are you that this can be done in the, shall we say, in the tenure of the next president that comes on, whoever he or she is?
You know, as Doctor has earlier said, Nigeria is a very rich country. But the problem is, no matter how rich a country is, you need a leader with capacity, a leader that can move the economy of the country. Nigeria is blessed with natural resources, but the problem is we are not tapping into the natural resources. You can see foreigners coming in to tap from our natural resources. So this comes to the fact that we have to shine our eyes to think of, in 2023, who do we want as our leader? We need a leader with capacity, with the experience and the technical know-how of Nigerian problems. It is when you know the problem of Nigeria, then you know the approach in which you solve the problems.
You know, I even imagine that we need to be looking, in addition to 2023, way beyond 2023, because we hear, Dr. Bayomi, that nations such as you touched on, that are doing developmental things for their people, usually they're working a minimum of 1 decade ahead.
Yes.
And I don't know that what our experience has been like that, because you have so many people vying for this office. So you begin to wonder how much, what is the depth of the thought that has gone into the assignment they actually covered?
Well, the truth of the matter, in the development of a nation, leadership matters. That's the truth. If we look at, for example, emerging nations in our time, largely most of those nations that are actually co-equally in the same position, co-equally with Nigeria, Malaysia, Hong Kong, India, and a number of other nations, you will see that the transformation of those nations to developed nation or advancing nation is essentially as a result of leadership. But if we come to Nigeria, you will see the inspiration is transforming inspiration of a leader. For example, you take Obafemi Awolowo. As at the time he was talking of free education, he was looking into the future. As at the time he was talking of building first-class civil service, he was looking into the future, what's going to do tomorrow is going to hold. In a sense, we also have to celebrate Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Just recently, they were talking of free trade zone. Free trade zone. I mean, as at the time he was talking of free trade zone, in Lagos here, it was a new idea, an extremely new idea. And I believe that was the reason why Dangote said, Asiwaju of Nigeria. If you remember what he said. When he was greeting, he said, Asiwaju of Nigeria.
Never mind Jagaban of Bogu.
Of course. Of course. And the president was there. And so, one of the most important attributes of a leader is capacity to innovate. to come up with new idea. Abraham Lincoln said, you cannot make a difference if you walk on a beaten path. Beaten path. If you translate it to Yoruba or Notosha, you understand what I mean? You cannot make a difference if you walk. Yes, if you walk on a beaten path. You cannot continue to do the same thing. You've got to think outside the box. You've got to dream big. Is it like King Arthur? This is the time of King Arthur, when we should reach for the skies. I mean, a leader must think beyond the possibility. I once asked a principal of my school, Guy Gajilo, he was talking about one of the best minds that emerged from that school, Professor Shola Ali, who is actually my uncle, who came out with best students, I think in the early 70s in University of Ife. We used to call him the wish of mathematics. And I said to you, the Italian principal, how were you able to get him, to get so much from him? He said he set goals that seemed unreachable and then challenged the minds to transcend those goals. So if you want to be great, you've got to think bigger than possibility.
Outside the box.
Outside the box. I think it was Niccolo Machiavelli who said you have to set your goal beyond your target, and then you work to achieve your goal. And that if you work to achieve your goal, you obviously will exceed your target.
Exactly. Okay.
So, in order to move this nation beyond the present and into the future, and this nation is one of the greatest nations in the world in terms of human endowment, material endowment, the fecundity of the minds of the people. But you need leaders that equalize all those capacities and abilities and capabilities and inspire the people to reach for the skies. A leader that thinks not a leader that does not walk on a beaten path.
Yeah. So it does something different. Now, let me, Dr. Bayomi spoke about the need for innovative leadership going forward. That's one thing that I think just about everybody will credit Bola Ahmed Tinubu with. People are still speaking about the difference he made in Lagos in his 2 terms as governor and subsequently appointing governors to continue with the blueprint. This innovative leadership, thinking differently, thinking outside the box. I think Lagos is a testament to what the benefit that you can get from that kind of a thing. So much so that neighboring countries, other states come into Lagos to study their processes. But I want to add that when Dr. Bayam also referred to those co-equal nations with us and what they have become, people speak, about Lee Kuan Yew, etc. But those people didn't have the constraints, or shall I say, the constriction of democracy. They could say this is the way it is going to be from now, and everybody just watch out. Look at those dynamics. How do you feel about the road forward for any president of Nigeria?
If you are talking about innovative leadership,
yes,
I think Asiwaju is one of those leaders that have proven himself that he has the capacity. He has been tested and trusted. As you said, let's take Lagos as a case study. When Asiwaju came in 1999, where was Lagos State? Lagos State was a state that nobody wanted to come to Lagos. But look at today. He transformed Lagos to a mini Dubai. He shoot the revenue of Lagos from 400 million, to almost 40 billion naira. He put Lagos on a straight mark, thinking about the future. He put Lagos in a position whereby, if you are thinking of a state, you look at what will Lagos look like in the next 50 years. The moment you have a working system, it tends to become easy. So we look at him as someone that always move around.
It's a rare ability, because what you just said, it's a rare ability because most people, I would imagine, I've never been in that class before, I would imagine, think about maybe maximum their term, what they would do in their term. But being able to think way into the future You've got to acknowledge.
That's what we say.
Asiwaju has it, and it's a rare ability.
Yeah. That's why I said when he came on board, he had a work plan for Lagos from 99 to the next 50 years. That any government that comes have to follow that work plan. And that's why you see Lagos developing day by day. New ideas coming. Any government that comes in, he's working on that. So because of that capacity, we say we need someone like Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu to ascend the presidency of Nigeria. He's someone that always works with the solution to problems in his pocket. Anywhere he goes to, he look at this as a problem, and the next thing he thinks of is what is the solution. He has a team of people that thinks for him. That's why he said that Nigeria presidency is not about age. It's not about what you have upstairs. If you look at developed countries, they work based on what will happen in future, not now, because they have a limited time of 4 years or 8 years. So any good leader would think of, okay, how will the fortune of a country be in the next 8 years? As he said earlier, when he comes, he has 7-point agendas, which he wants to address. And out of it is, he knew education is part of it, insecurity, the youth unrestiveness. If you fail to build the youth, then you are failing to build the nation.
Okay.
So we look at Asiwaju as someone that have the capacity to move Nigeria to the glory land. So I believe.
Okay, I imagine it could be the same for all the presidential candidates, but I was just thinking that, look, people present themselves for the presidency that, quite frankly, they don't have much to gain out of it in terms of material, whatsoever. But they go in there. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu said that it's been a lifelong ambition of mine to serve this country. I brought in the matter, Doctor, earlier about Lee Kuan Yew's of this world and other people that have able to be doing things that we are all admiring of. They didn't have democracy to hinder them. They could command and bring the strong arm of the state to force into their innovative thinking. In this sense, we don't have that because we have to work with democracy. Will it make the journey longer? Or?
Yeah, but if you take India, there has been one of the stable democracies in the world.
Yes. Okay.
And India is advancing tremendously. It's becoming one of the developed nations in the world. If we take, for example, software development alone, India is making billions of naira from software development. Most of the major world corporations are headed by Indians. So we now are looking at, a few years ago, a developed nation that looked into the future and decided to, essentially develop in a particular zone, invest in a particular zone, develop capacity in a particular zone. Development of a nation is essentially fall into two: human development, material development, and human development. That's basically what. So now, you have to have a leader that, to use St. Thomas Paine, who is willing to will for something, and then to ensure that we work for it. Those are the two things, to will for it and to work for it. It is not like a leader is going to do it, but he must have the capacity to mobilize human people who can work with him. He must have intuition to know, what is called emotional intelligence, to be able to know that Tunji may be very good in this particular area, and then Abubakar will also be very good in this particular area, or that Tunji will not be suitable for this particular area. In other words, a leader that can put a round hole in a round, a round peg in a round hole, not a leader that puts a square hole in a round peg. Because a leader, a lot of people say, oh, Asiwaju is maybe the issue of health and so on and so forth and so on. Well, what's the issue? The issue is you are not challenging his cognitive capacity. And in any case, in this country, there are over 40 million disabled people who are also qualified to run for president, as long as they are competent in the head, even if they are not competent in their feet. So you cannot defeat their right to aspire. As a matter of fact, one of the presidents of the three best presidents of America, Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Franklin Roosevelt. Franklin Roosevelt was disabled from waist down from the age of 39, and he became twice the governor of New York, and he won a landslide, I think in 1935 or thereabout, and became the president of America up until 1945 during the Second World War. It was during his time some of the major developments of America took place, including airspace and lots of other things like that. So the issue is the capacity of the head of the leader, the head of the head. That is essentially what we are talking about.
And the intuition, that is all important.
That's when I say the capacity of the head, it goes into intuition, emotional intelligence, determination, commitment, vision, and a commitment to lift the nation. Like I said, Abraham Lincoln said, you cannot make a difference if you walk on a beaten path.
That's right.
You must think differently from the normative.
The one other aspect of Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the fact that he is credited, and rightly, with being able to identify human talents. Very few places up and down the land have not, in one way or the other, benefited, and especially in Lagos, when he was holding sway in Lagos, from people that he had brought to notice. You just look at all the people that Lagosians that are just very, that people know in Lagos. You think of after him in Lagos as governor, Babatunde Raji Fashola, came after that, and so on and so forth. And then look at all the technocrats that he brought, and of course people that are ultimately Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, was in his cabinet. He was among the sterling finds.
In fact, one of the people that developed this colloquium.
Yes,
he is in forefront of bringing about Bola Ahmed's colloquium.
You see, so that aspect of the man is going to count for much, because I'm just guessing that you don't wake up and begin to do the kind of things that Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been doing if you're not a deep thinker yourself. And you've been thinking about this way before you had the opportunity to even do it.
You see, one good thing about Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is his ability to search, to scout for the best hands. That is one good aspect about him.
Yeah, but is that intuitive, emotional? I don't know, intelligence that
that's it's where you say he's emotionally intelligent, as intelligent. He's sound.
His intuition is working
as well. He knows how to get the result and knew how to get what he wants at the particular time.
How does he identify those people? Those people that everybody now comes to hail. How does he get to identify them? Because initially, when they come out, people have not heard so much about them and say, well, which one is this? Later on, they excel and surprise everybody.
It is because he have an open hand policies. He's someone that give opportunity to people to see him. If you're talking to Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he looks at you, and from what you're saying, he sees the talent in you. And I don't want to believe that he only built people in Lagos. Asiwaju has built people all over the world, not only in Lagos State.
No, he
has mentored of people to go to school abroad. He brings them back because he knew their talents. So it's someone that take his time and plan for the future. As he said, this presidency is a lifetime ambition, right? He has been planning to become Nigerian president since when he left Lagos State government. He has not aspired to become anything, but today he said he wants to become Nigerian president. So I felt we Nigerians should be grateful to have someone like Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Okay. We are not doing favor to him. We are doing favor to ourselves. Because if you are taking of leaders, people with capacity in Nigeria to move Nigeria to the glory land, Asiwaju is one of those people.
Okay.
Among all the people that came out, I want us to critically look at them, assess them. Most of them are former governors. Look at their states. Have they achieved what Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu achieved in Lagos? Then you start comparison that who is the right man for the job. So I believe Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a godsend to Nigeria. He closed 70 years today. If you look at from the time he started politics, from the time he fought for Nedeko, he has fought half of his life for Nigeria.
Okay.
So it is time for us to pay him back.
Okay.
To give him that support.
Okay.
So taking age as something is not the age should not be a diastry.
In fact, we'll come and look at that aspect to the whole story. Bola Ahmed Tinubu is 70. Happy birthday to you from the house, from the entire TVC house. There will be a colloquium later on, pivoting, the theme of which is pivoting Nigeria into the new world, the imperatives of good governance. Now, as I was saying, there will be a colloquium later on. I have in studio Dr. Tunji Abayomi, constitutional lawyer and politician, party member, and Comrade Abubakar Abdullahi Kuso, national coordinator, Bola Tinubu Support Organization, and SSA to Niger State Governor on ecological matters. There are quite a number of support groups. Yours is one of them. I imagine all of these numbers are probably going to have to, collapse into one gigantic movement. Is work on in that direction?
Yeah, the work is on in that direction, because you can see a lot of support group are out supporting Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Among all the candidates, is the only person that have support groups more than you can imagine. So we felt to have a good working relationship and for proper recognition and everybody playing part, we felt we should trim them under one umbrella so that we can have proper coordination.
Okay. So there you go. Everybody knows Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Asiwaju Eko, and Jagaban Bogu.
I'd like to be Jagaban of Okeagbe.
the Jagaban of the universe.
Because the Jagaban of Okeagbe, obviously I will get development to my town.
Jagaban, that title, is it something about warrior? In
Jagaban Bogu,
the leader. Okay, Jagaban Bogu, the leader. And,
well, he has actually visited Okeagbe too.
So you people also need to find it.
He has been hosted in Okeagbe.
The man has a whole box full of titles anyway. So the ones that rose to the top are Asiwaju Eko and Jagaban Bogu. Yeah. Now, we shall be moving quite shortly because we're looking at the demand, the entirety. We shall be hearing people talk about his ideas later on. But we're going to be moving to the primary stages in your party.
Yes.
Consensus was seen in the last exercise. I don't know how it's going to come out, but maybe everybody in the party, he is the first person from your party, indeed, if I remember, from Nigeria, to actually announce and speaking directly to the president that, sir, when you're done, I would like to continue the work that you have started. So that is there. Now, the success of this will depend on how many people within the party are actually on the same page with him. And in the nature of politics, I don't think one can take it for granted that, it's a universal, a unanimous, everybody is for him. There will be other contenders, right? And so how do you think this is going to work? There's going to be a lot of work, a lot of horse trading. If I'm not jumping the gun, I know we haven't got to that stage yet, but it's on everybody's mind. All sorts of names are thrown into the ring. Oshibajo is thrown into the ring. That's the one that just comes to my head. Even though he hasn't said a word so far. What are your thoughts on this? Is there, as the president appealed when they were going to elect officials of the party, that let there be unity, let nothing be done that would bring about rancor? Can we move into the primaries, the elective primaries, when the time comes, with the same mindset in your party?
There's nothing wrong with disagreement as long as we don't move towards we do not need to be disagreeable.
Okay.
I mean,
you can disagree without being disagreeable.
Yes, without unnecessary conflict. Diversity is a trade of life, even among the same children. There's nothing wrong with that. We come with different excellencies. One of the greatest things about this nation is its capacity to extract excellencies from different parts of the world. Now, I tell people, I'm a representation of this nation's possibility. I left Okeagbe, my hometown, in Ondo State. I came to Lagos And in Lagos, I met a blind man, Bitrus Gani Kilama from Taraba State, who guaranteed me. I was looking for a guarantor to go abroad to study. It was a blind man, Bitrus Gani Kilama, who was working at Lagos University Teaching Hospital, was a physiotherapist, who guaranteed me to go abroad to study. In other words, a blind man gave me light, education. That is the worth and the greatness of Nigeria. You can tap excellencies from different parts of this nation. Now, Asiwaju Ahmed said, this is a lifelong dream. That should be commended, understandably. If you have a vision in the future, which you want to realize, you prepare for it. You prepare for it. People say, oh, how can he say it's a lifelong dream? It makes sense. Because if I want to be a lawyer, I have to lay the foundation. I have to study. I have to, the jigsaw puzzle, I have to set it in order to get to my goal. If I have to cross a bridge, if I have to cross a river, I have to build a bridge in order to get to the other side, to my goal. So if he says it's a lifelong goal, it means that he's been preparing. No wonder he has network
all over the place.
All over the country. No wonder a whole lot of people have had interaction with him and so now, or inspired a whole lot of generation. So when he said it's a lifelong goal, it means that he has been a man prepared.
He's been working on this
for the major job. And if you are a man prepared for a major job like the president of Nigeria, and that is a very serious commission, you'll be understandably, you know, he's a man that can be supported, a man that is supportable.
Okay, 1 second. Good morning, Mr. George, and thank you for holding on. Go ahead now, please.
Good morning, Uncle Yori, and good morning to Dr. Abayomi and the gentleman from Niger State.
Comrade Abubakar.
Comrade Abubakar.
Yes.
Uncle Yori, I've been following Asiwaju Tinubu for the past 30 years or so.
Wow.
And what I saw from the beginning is a man that wants to build people and his country. So yesterday, when we were talking on the program, one of your guest speakers was saying people are saying that he must be made or he must be voted for as the president, or that his party must make him. That wasn't him. Misinterpreted what I was saying. What I was saying is that among those that have shown interest in his party, he is obviously the best. And the time has come for him to be given the opportunity. It was my opinion, which I stand with any day, anytime, with good reasons. This is the 13th colloquium he's doing. 13th, that is, he does it once in a year. So he's been doing it now for 13 years. What does that tell you, Uncle Yori?
Yes.
Preparation.
It's not done with eating and drinking. He uses the opportunity to discuss Nigeria and the way forward.
Yes.
That's the way he's been doing. We have checked so many things about him, Uncle Yori, in his companies that he runs. More than 50% of the staff are non-Yorubas. What does that tell you? This is a man who is not tribalistic. He does things for the sake of doing it to help people. So we don't want a situation where after he has passed on, people will start calling him the best president Nigeria never had. The opportunity has come now, and let's make use of it. That is the basis of my advocacy. It is on facts. It is on what can be verified from his past records. In the Southwest, Dr. Abami can bear me witness. There is no leader that did not go through his tutelage. You can't say a director in a ministry, you can't say a commissioner, you can't say a governor in this Southwest that didn't go through the training and tutelage of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He's not the only person that has been a governor before. Like the gentleman on your left said, how many other governors can show his own legacies? There's none. So why shouldn't we give a chance to somebody that can run this country? That's just what I'm saying.
All right then.
But it's not for any other reason. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
There's something I want to add.
Okay.
I wanted to add something about,
I'll come to you now.
about this gentleman called Bola Ahmed Tinubu. There is one aspect of what I would call the human aspect about him that I think is also essential for leaders. The capacity to forget the conflict between him and other people.
Okay.
And move forward.
That is
And
something that is often heard about.
It's very,
from those
very
who are close to
essential.
him.
The capacity to overcome, to forget the conflict between him. Even though Bola Ahmed Tinubu and myself, we have had a lot of
You've
conflict.
had your spats.
Yes,
You've had your
because
spats.
I disagree with him sometimes very strongly on issues on several occasions. When we had a party or an event in Lagos television station, I think it was a congress or something like that, I disagreed on who should go into, who should represent wards. When we were at Dome, this day Dome, when we were talking about amendment of the Constitution, I disagreed with him. When we were talking of Ondo State, I disagreed with him. But the point is that it's not disagreeable. He sees it.
It wasn't personal.
It wasn't. He does not take it personally. And I will continue to disagree with him if I believe I should disagree with him. But you should have a leader who you are not afraid to disagree with, and is strong enough to be able to tolerate, engage you in this. And if you maintain the position, he doesn't take it personally in such a way that it now creates a distance
between you and
when you have that kind of leader, he will not get the best out of citizens, especially the best citizens. And the best citizen, the most intelligent citizen, the most able citizen, the most capable citizen will disagree.
Okay. Before I come to you, I said I'll come to you, but Mr. Opera in VI has phoned in the meanwhile. Good morning, Mr. Opera.
Yes, good morning.
Thank you for calling in. Good morning.
And good morning to the guests in the studio.
Yes.
I want to acknowledge the man that is in topic right now.
Bola
And I
Ahmed
wish him
Tinubu.
happy birthday. Yeah, happy birthday. So I want to correct the man by your left, the Elijah by your left, who said, look at the whole leaders in Lagos. In area, there is no one you can compare with him. There is no man we can compare with late Jakonde. That is the best man for Lagos for now. After Jakonde, any other person can follow. But Jakonde has touched life. You cannot rule him out as number one in Lagos for now.
Okay.
Jakonde.
Okay.
Number two, we thank God for our Shoaju who have done certain things in Lagos and everywhere. Thank God for the testimony. But they say, show me your friend, I will tell you whom you are. I know what we are facing in Nigeria today, he is part of it. The government of now, he is part of it.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Opera, for calling in. And Alhaji Lateef Kayode Jakonde, of blessed memory, is highly appreciated in Lagos as well. Very well appreciated. But let me come to you. We're talking about we've spoken about identifying human capital, and developing it, innovative leadership. Dr. Bayomi talked about in the Southwest, here. He is what he is, a colossus. But beyond the Southwest, moving to other areas of the country, you, for instance, you're from the North, yet you and colleagues are working assiduously for his objective. Talk to me a bit about Asiwaju's foray into the North and how it is that he's well accepted. People know about Kano himself and Governor Ganduje. I'm sure there are many others, that people don't know about. Talk about that aspect, because people in the Southwest can talk for hours about Tinubu. How about people in the North?
No, we in the North I would say we've benefited more in Asuaju's legacy than the South. Because he's someone that he has touched a lot of lives in the North. He has built it, that he has supported people to become leaders. You can imagine he gave a northerner, two northerners, the opportunity of flying in his party. He has the opportunity of flying in ASEAN, and he gave it to Nuribadu. He also has the opportunity of flying as well and give it to Atiku Abubakar. So you can see he believed in one Nigeria. Asuwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is someone that does not believe it is me alone. He always believed about Nigeria. And on this is lifeline ambition. If he said he has been planning to become president for a very long time, in Nigeria today, how many leaders do you see who say they want to become leaders and have planned for this? Since he left the governor of Lagos State, he has not aspired to become senator. He has not aspired to become anything. But this time around, he said he wants to become president. That is to prove to you that since the time he left Lagos State governor, he has been observing and planning for a better Nigeria. So he felt when it comes to time for the SAT to produce the president by 2023, it is time for him to put his legs in that.
Let me add a simplistic kind of a question. In the Southwest here, you could say that Tinubu is as well known as he is, and he probably will do well in the Southwest. But how would you evaluate his chances in the North, for example?
We as we felt not easy for Asuwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Okay.
Because most of these support group we are seeing, they are from the North. We Nigerian youths are most of the one heading this group because we felt with Asuwaju presidency, our future is safe. We've seen how we have mentored people. All these people you see become leaders today, they started with Asuwaju at the age of 35, 36, before 40. How old are they today? And they've become great men in Nigerians. So we Nigeria youth felt it is time to support this Asuwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu to become president. And when he's leaving, by then he might have mentored. Asuwaju is an institution, if you don't know today. People pass through his institution and become great in the world.
Okay, let me bring Dare in on the conversation. Dare is in Benin. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Uncle Yori, how are you doing, sir?
Very well, thank you.
It's actually my first time of calling. I've been watching your program for over 3 years now.
Okay, then. Thank you very much.
I have a different opinion.
Sure, let's hear it.
For this country to move forward, we need somebody who can deliver, not somebody who has been in the government for the past 30 years. Okay, my own opinion is now, I want you to point out one thing that Asuwaju has done. He's a very popular man, he's a very respectful man. One thing that he has done that the masses, the poor men can benefit, that are benefiting from. The common men in Nigeria. Just one thing, that is what he has done. He's been a governor for 2 terms in Lagos, he's been a senator, his wife is currently a senator. Now, just point out one thing, that this is one thing that the common men are benefiting in Lagos from. Apart from enriching themselves, I'm sorry to say, if you can defend that reason why Tulip Anna to be coming out of his house during the election and he says it's nobody's business, if you can tell me that he has less than 100 cars in his compound and it's nobody's business, I will vote for him. But without that, please, we need somebody who will move Nigeria forward. This is how we're deceived. To enter one chance, we enter in 2015.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Mr. Dare. I believe my guests sort of feel that. Let me just take the question out of that. Give us one thing that Asuwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has done in his official capacity that has been of benefit to the ordinary masses. Both my guests think it's an easy question to answer. Let me take Comrade Abubakar first.
I stand to disagree with this gentleman that called now that what has he done the masses have benefited. Has he forgotten in the North? I want to talk about the North. This is not about Lagos, it's about Nigeria. We have more than 3 markets where the poor always go and do their petty business. They got burned down, and Asuwaju went to those markets to sympathize with them and give money to rebuild the market. So what do you want to say that someone has not benefited after going to the market where everybody goes, where the most vulnerable, the less privileged men go to put a stock of just 5,000 naira to benefit, and it got burnt?
Okay.
Someone going to sympathize with them to donate some kind of money to rebuild that market. So that alone, he has touched his life.
That is just one aspect.
So that is one aspect
just one aspect. Dr. Bayomi, the question about
employment. We didn't have this level of unemployment when he was governor. He was able to get people to work in various ways, particularly ordinary citizens of Nigeria. That is commendable. And he changed Lagos and make it attractive for a whole lot of people to come here to find a living and sources of life in terms of development of the economy of Lagos. Education is another area in which he invested a whole lot during the time when he was governor. There are lots of other things. If you have to do the research, you will find that is, and this is the point I'm making, people talk of capability. Like I said in a sister station, the issue is not capability. There are lots of people that are capable to become president of Nigeria, including Tunji Abayomi. The issue is comparability. There's a difference between capability and comparability, which can be co-equally assessed among lots of people. But comparability cannot be co-equally assessed. If you look at him, what has been testimony of his performance, and now we are talking now, he was talking about this issue of has been governor for many, many years ago. I mean, and he's still relevant. Now look at it from this standpoint. Here was a man who was governor quite a number. He was governor with many of our people. Adebayo Adefarati in Ondo State. I think in Ogun State we have. I don't remember his name now.
Oshoba?
No, it wasn't Oshoba. Was it Oshoba? I don't know. Well, in any case, a contemporary governors of all of them who is still relevant today. And if it's still relevant, is it without cause?
Okay.
Is it without cause?
I hear you. Benga in Abuja, good morning.
Good morning, my brother. And the gentleman there.
Yes.
I'll answer the questions. When Asuwaju came in, he brought in LASMA. And LASMA has benefited the common man by making traffic to flow, which has increased profitability. Yes. The number of manpower that people are wasted on traffic jam has reduced. And it created employment for the youth. The foundation he laid, like came in and brought in BRT. And BRT today has helped in the transportation and also increased economic activity and GDP of Lagos. Where was Lagos before Asiwaju? Lagos today is the fifth economy in Africa. As common has not benefited from that, common men have benefited from that economic side. So it's uncountable. It's uncountable.
All right,
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Comment on that.
I wanted to add something that is...
I'll come to you, but very briefly,
Yes.
Doctor, because maybe
Time is running.
30 seconds.
Yeah. I was only going to say that it's also important now, in our time, in this time, that we have a leader that has seen the world.
Okay.
Beyond just the geographical boundary of Nigeria, who has interacted, who can derive idea from other people, who, global vision. And I think to a certain extent, Bola Ahmed Tinubu falls into that. Finally, let me say something. He also is our representation and our testimony. Those of us that struggled for human rights in this country, who went to jail for this nation to know a new lease of life. He is our representative, because our pain is that after all our struggle and after the jailing and all of that, who is there to push this nation in the direction of our hope?
Okay. Indeed. Thank you very much. So very briefly, please.
So,
We've run out of time completely.
Especially to what he said.
Yes.
What we does in Bola Tinubu's organization is we look at the aspect education. We came up with a project known as Bola Tinubu Education Support Program, in which we just distributed 5,000 jams to less privileged across Nigeria. So we're also going into distribution of NECO.
So it's a continuing process.
We look at what he has done and follow his leadership to assist Nigerians.
Thank you very much, Comrade Abubakar Abdullahi Kuso, National Coordinator of Bola Tinubu Support Organization. And to you, Dr. Tunji Abayomi, again, both of you esteemed APC members. Once again, we say happy birthday, happy 70th birthday.
Happy birthday to
Happy
you.
birthday.
Happy birthday as well.
Many happy returns.
Many happy returns. And TVC, of course, is going to be covering the
Colloquium.
the colloquium. The word escapes me. The colloquium. The colloquium. Pivoting Nigeria into the new world order. Imperatives of good governance. We'll see you again. I'll be back here for the colloquium. In the meantime, I'm Yori Folari. As for this morning, see you tomorrow with a fresh edition. I'm Yori Folari. Bye-bye for now.